Hello everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. Let's take a walk and go see what's in the fridge today. Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. Look, we got a bottle with a cork and a cage in it. That usually means it's pretty good. Usually means it's pretty damn good. So this one is Lost Abbey's, and they're calling it a box set. Lost Abbey box set, track 10, Bat Out of Hell. And if you look at the front, if you can see it from the camera, it's got a bat coming, or some kind of demon, bat-winged demon coming up out of the center of the ground, and it's bat out of hell. That's what it looks like, some kind of demon bat out of hell. And this is their track 10, Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels with coffee and cocoa nibs added. This is a big beer too. This is a 13.5%, and they're telling me that their beers are dated, but they are very hard to see, just like the Lagunitas beers, and I'll take a quick look at it when we come back. But I am told that they date their stuff. And it's got, and normally the beers are up to here, about an inch ahead, and this one's down to here. So Paris sent me this. My brother in beers in California, Paris. Thank you, sir. I do appreciate it. He gets his hands on some awesome beers, as well as you guys in California know. Y'all have a great selection of beers out in California. You really, really do. Makes me jealous sometimes. But he sends me some freaking awesome beers. I don't think I've had a bad beer. The only one that didn't suit my fancy was the one he sent me from Stone to do these hops make my beer look big. That one didn't. It was a new style of beer with a experimental hop in it, and just didn't hit the button. Just didn't hit the button. But it wasn't a bad beer. It wasn't a 9 or a 10 beer in my opinion, which 99.9% of them that he sends me are. They're freaking awesome. But I appreciate every one I get, whether they're a 10 or whether they're a 4. Especially stuff that I can't get my hands on here. I like reviewing beers. I guess you guessed that now, with 1,630 some beer reviews done here in almost 5 years of doing them. So I've had my share of some very tasty beers, and I appreciate every one that is sent to me. So let's get on with this one. This is, like I said, and this may be a collaboration, because Rate Beer said brewed by Port Brewing / Lost Abbey. So I'm not sure whether this is a collab beer or not. It's got Lost Abbey on the bottle, and I don't see Port Brewing written on it anywhere. Who knows? Alright guys, and also, as with the last beer, they say this is a 12%er, where it clearly states it's a 13.5%, 13.5 right here on the bottle. So maybe they've done this beer before, and this year's edition is a little bit bigger. I do not know. I've not had this beer before. It's got 13.5% on the Beer Advocate site, but Rate Beer has it at 12. I don't have an IBUs, and I don't think it's listed. Really not that critical for on an Imperial Stout that's aged in bourbon barrels. Stouts that are aged in bourbon barrels are my favorites, guys. Especially in the dark beer category. I love a bourbon barrel aged stout. nothing tastier in my opinion, especially for the final beer of the evening, which this is, especially at a 13.5%er. I think I'll be done after this. It says here, let's go to I'm going to read you the commercial description. It's a little long, but I'm going to do it anyway. Late November 2011, Mike Rodriguez, our head brewer, asked about creating a coffee and cocoa nib version of Serpent Stout. Now, that's what this is. This is Serpent Stout. I just reviewed it not long ago, guys. And this is that beer that's aged in, well, let me read it on to you. It's aged in the bourbon barrels. Cocoa nib version of Serpent Stout for the San Diego Strong Ale Festival. This beer was a hit with our fans. When we wrote up the syllabus for the ultimate box set, so like I said, I'm thinking this comes in a box with more than one beer in it. We knew we had a version of this beer we knew a version of this beer would be included. We waited until the very end of the release schedule to put this beer in a bottle so that the coffee and cocoa nibs really come through. 4 bourbon barrels were selected for their rich and dense chocolate flavors. 1 week before packaging, we added 17 pounds of Ryan Brothers coffee and 4 pounds of TCHO cocoa nibs were added to the coffee and cocoa to steep before packaging. That sounds tasty just reading it, doesn't it? Alright, I don't think there's anything else there we need to discuss, so let's go over to the food pairings. Food pairings, cheeses, buttery brie gouda, Havarti Swiss, and since it is a stout, it goes well with your chocolate dishes. The meat is beef, smoked meat, game, and grilled meat. Glass wine, pint, becker, nonic, tumbler, sniffer, oversized wine glass. I brought out the double glass for this one, guys. And this beer can be cellared for long periods under the proper conditions. But what I am being told here over the last couple of months, anything that's brewed with a coffee, you shouldn't cellar it too long because the coffee will fade over time. So if you're drinking an Imperial Coffee Stout or something that's had coffee added to it, you may not want to cellar it. I was not aware of that. I didn't realize the coffee flavors would fade over time, but I am told that they will. Alright, don't think there's anything else, so it is that time. It is time to get it on. Bang a gong, get it on. The cage comes off. Let's see if I have enough strength in my old feeble little hands to get this cork out of here. Here we go. Poop! Look at the smoke. Right. Into the glass we go. 13.5% straight down the center. Alright. Parrish, thanks again, brother. I do appreciate it, sir. You are the man. About a half a finger of head, and I really don't think it's going to stick around very long. 13.5%er. I'm actually surprised it poured any head at all. Over into the light, there is none. It is pitch black, black as the night. Black as used Harley motor oil is what I say. I mean, ooh, you want to drink that? Sure I do. Alright guys, and that head is just barely covering the top of the beer now. It didn't hang around long. You know. Oh, let's get a nose on it. I'm dying to. Ooh. Ooh, the bourbon is there, guys. Big bourbon notes on this. Now, the bourbon is overpowering everything right now. I mean, it's just released out of the bottle, and the bourbon is just off the chain. Of course, that'll probably calm down a little bit, and as it warms up, the coffee and the chocolate from the cocoa nibs will probably come out and be more prevalent. But in the nose, bourbon and rich roasted malt. Maybe a hint of that coffee, but it's going to get more intense as it warms up. Not getting a lot of chocolate in the nose. The bourbon is just overpowering that, so it's that time. Let's taste it. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Parrish, my brother. My brother in beer. Cheers to you, my friend. Wow. That is a big beer. I'm not going to lie to you. The alcohol is there. It's not overpowering. It's not burning or doing anything crazy like that. But it is a big, bold Imperial Stout. Bourbon barreled Imperial Stout. I love that smell. Getting the chocolate from the cocoa nibs and the coffee and the bourbon and the roasted malt, maybe a hint of some dark fruit, but like I said, all of that's probably going to come out more as it warms up. It's right out of the fridge at around 40 degrees, so I intend on letting it warm up to room temperature. I don't sit here and drink it all in front of you. That is delish. Alright, before I sit here and drink it all and get slapped for not giving her some, I'm going to take it back and let her take a sip or two or three, whatever she wants, and might even fire up a punch bare knuckle cigar to go with this, or maybe a Gurkha. One of the Gurkha ones, either a Titan or a Warlord or something to sip on and toke on. People say, well, toke, yeah, or smoke, whatever you want to call it. That's tasty. That's damn tasty. Alright guys, stick around. I'll be right back. We'll do the final chug and grade. I'm liking this. Alright guys, I'm back. I just a little left here. This is a freaking awesome beer. I've looked at the bottle. I'm told that they do date their stuff, but I see nothing on this bottle just like the last bottle. It may be there. It may not be there. This is a Russian Imperial Stout at 13.5%. Not critical, but I would like to see a year on this so we know when it was put in the bottle. That way you know if you want to save it for 5 years or 10 years, you'll know. But there is nothing that I can physically see on this bottle. And Lost Abbey is big enough to at least put a year on this, especially a specialty beer like this. It's probably done one time. This is a track 10 aged in bourbon barrels with coffee and cocoa nibs added. They could put the year right on here. I mean, it's not a big deal, and they're big enough to do it. I do not see any kind of dating on this as far as a year or a month or a day. The month and the day is not that critical, but we need the year on this, guys. I do not see anything on here. I am told that they date their stuff, but I see nothing on here, and if it's that impossible to see, guys, it's a 10 beer in a 9 bottle as far as I'm concerned. It is a 10 beer in a 9 bottle. Guys at Lost Abbey, you do some great stuff. You need to step up to the plate. You're big enough to do it. Put the year, put the vintage on the label. On the label. Read my lips. On the frickin' label. Nothing digitized on the bottle. You can afford to put it on the label. You put a separate sticker underneath the label here telling you what the beer is, and it's in bourbon barrels and all that. But 2015, 2014, 2013, whenever it was put in the bottle on the label. You'd have got the 10 from me if you'd had it. You get the 9 from me because it does not have it. Need the vintage on this style of beers. Put the year on it. Enough said. Over to Beer Advocate. Beer Advocate is 98 world class. It most definitely is. It is a world class, very excellent beer. I'm going to do the final chug in between. Freaking awesome. The bourbon is just off the chain, guys. The alcohol, now it's warmed up, is there. You will taste the alcohol. 13.5%, very hard to hide, 13.5%. It's not super boozy, but the influences from the bourbon barrels is there. The coffee is there. It's not overpowering in the coffee. I've had coffee stouts that were way more coffee-ish than this beer is. But the bourbon is just off the chart, off the chain, guys, on this. Heavy bourbon on this beer. Very heavy. 13.5%. Probably wouldn't want to have more than one of these, especially if you're out at a bar having one of these, because you will be looking you will be looking down the end of that flashlight. You've been drinking? Kind of hard to hide 13.5% beer, especially if you had one or two others before you had this, or even after you had this. You probably wouldn't want to have this beer and then have some lighter beers after that. You usually start off with the lightest beer, then work your way up to something a little heavier, then finish off, if you're going to drink 3, with something of this magnitude. Unless you're at home, then you can drink whatever you want to stagger back to the bedroom and fall in. But if you're drinking this out at a pub or a brewery, it's got the ABV written on it, so you know, unless you're drinking a draft, and they usually have on the board or will tell you what the percentage of the ABV is on this beer. They usually know that. It's usually written somewhere, either on the menu or on the board where you're drinking your beer is at. But not knowing the vintage is a six of my craw. It does. They're big enough to do that, and they choose not to. It's not super critical, but it is to me. I would like to see, if this is 2014 vintage, put 2014 on it. So. Alright, we got a 98 World Class from Beer Advocate over to Rate Beer. Rate Beer says 100 overall and 97 in the style. If I was giving this a numeric rating just because it doesn't have the vintage on it, it's a 99. If it had the vintage on it, it would be 100. So, just my OCD, guys. It's just me. Month, day, and a year on the IPA, or double IPA, and low ABV beers. And then the beers of this magnitude, Imperial Stouts, Imperial Porters, put the vintage on it. Put the year that it was put in the bottle, so we'll know. Otherwise, we got to try to figure out when it was produced, go to their website, put a piece of tape on it, right when you bought it. That's horse hockey. That's horse hockey. Just do it. Don't make me slap you. Alright, guys, so we're going to wrap it up with this one. Awesome beer. 10 beer in a 9 bottle. There is no date that I can see. And if I can't see it by twirling it around in the light, and if it's hidden somewhere, that sucks. So, you put a vintage on this one, guys, at Lost Abbey's Brewery. This is a very, very tasty beer. Say it one more time. 10 beer in a 9 bottle. So if you've had this one from Lost Abbey, this is their Track 10 Bat Out of Hell. Let me know what you think. Alright, guys. Let's go see what's in the fridge tomorrow. See you then.